Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the local pundit. It is the Ring and Rant show. I can tell you what, do I want to have a rant? Because it was absolutely atrocious, in my opinion. But that's just me. I am not the only one. It's good to see people already here in the comments getting ready to go. We're up and away. And I tell you what, I'm not the only one that wants to have a rant. I've got a special guest. Long time no see. Been away, paid vacation. He's back. How are you, Paddy?
Hello, everybody. I'm here. Hello.
Oh my God, mate. I was tearing my hair out.
Yeah, interesting match.
You know, I've said it multiple times now. We have to take our chances, and we're not. And it's costing us points every week.
Longman. Good backup, but not a starter in that position.
Yeah. Now, we're not always going to take our chances. I get that.
Yeah.
But if we take half of them, half of these chances, just do something. I mean, so I'm not blaming Longman because it was him this time, but that it builds up.
Okay, I'm going to start with a positive before we hit all the negatives. Stoke are currently a top 3 team. They have the top defense in the league at the moment. So they're not an easy team. But we did get chances and we didn't take them. So it's another match with points dropped where potentially we could have taken some. It's a shame.
Yeah. Then okay, so that's your positive. That they're a top 3 team.
I'm basically done with positives. Yeah, that's about it.
The positive is they're a top 3 team and we lost.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, so we're traveling away. I wanted the point. That point was well and truly within our grasp. Now, very hard team to break down defensively, so that's, that fact that we missed that opportunity and then their goal. Now, in saying that, we were very hard to break down defensively as well. The goal they scored was not like a clinical great goal.
No, and it came from mistakes. Stupid cut and knock the ball out for a corner that should never have happened in the first place. And then we didn't clear it afterwards. So
Yep. And I'm just reading some of the comments.
I know.
Like, sir, only positive from Saturday was your pre-match show, Ken. Wow, that really is that is really scraping the barrel.
Pretty low bar.
Andrew C. Ryan Longman should have been a stormtrooper in Star Wars. I love this one. They never hit their targets.
He scored. He has scored.
Yeah. And Syrio, I'm sorry, but they dominated us. Chances or not, we were dominated. They were the better team. I'm not going to agree with you there. But just because they're the better team on the day, we had the best chance out of both teams of a goal and didn't score. And then we were hard to break down defensively too. So, if I take your view on it, Paddy, I'll agree. I'll give you a positive. Rathbone back and having some minutes.
Okay.
For the future.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Kikache playing, but didn't look great coming back.
No.
But he didn't have long either. Like it's only getting back in the last couple of minutes, so I don't put him down too hard. But he needs to show us pre-January that he's better than Longman.
Yeah. Yep. And I've got lots of I've got someone moonlighting and a couple of guys is here in the chat. Paddy, I've seen Josh Anthony. I've seen TAVERN Productions. I've just put the link in there, people, if you want to come in and have your rant, because that's what this show is. So, it's available there for you now. If you want to come in, Paddy and I have got it started. We're having our absolute vent. Well, mate, actually, before we get deep into it, how's your holiday?
It was okay. It was fun. Went north. It's not too cold just yet, so
Yep.
that
Looks.
was
I
good.
see you saw the Northern Lights. One of the things on my bucket list.
Saw the Northern Lights. Saw lots of reindeer out walking the roads because they haven't been collected yet for the winter.
So Santa is real.
Yeah, the kids went to see Santa.
This is good. What did they ask for Christmas? 3 points. Did you ask Santa for 3 points for Christmas?
I know. I got a lump of coal in my stocking. Let's see where we are at Christmas.
Okay, so if everybody out there, I just want you to get that mental image now of Paddy sitting on Santa's lap in his red Wrexham kit, matching Santa. Dear Santa, all I'd like is for my team to actually start winning some games for Christmas.
At home.
Anywhere. I don't care where, just anywhere. So good. But no, so yeah, I mean, look, people, the link's in there. I'll whack it in again. You know, if you want to come in and have your say, we don't bite. But yeah, I think, it's been a minute and I haven't actually looked at all the results from the weekend. I was so frustrated at the end of that game, Paddy. I have not even checked how any of the other matches went. I have not looked at it for the rest of the weekend. I just checked out. I was like,
so you don't know that Birmingham lost then?
Well, that makes me feel better. Maybe.
If we'd won, we would have been ahead of them.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sheffield United won.
Did they?
They're off the bottom. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Actually, let me have a look at the table. Okay, so Sheffield United are off the top bottom, but they're tied at the bottom with Sheffield Wednesday. And we're only one win out of the relegation zone.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if you want to continue down that road, we have Oxford next at home. So that, in theory, should be our first home win.
Well, they're just below us on the table and won their match on the weekend.
Yes. So things won't look too great if we lose that match, because following that, then we have Middlesbrough and Coventry, Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
One home, one away. Both tough matches. So
how easy is the championship?
Yeah. Now after that, it gets a little bit easier until halfway. So we have a little bit easier running across Christmas. But of course, with Christmas, we have a lot of quick matches. So we could pull it back over the Christmas period with a nice run of games and look much, much better. But sorry, if we don't take out Oxford, you really don't want to end up on a run of 4 losses.
No, you don't. You absolutely do not. No, Matthew, I did mean Paddy sitting on his lap. I gave the full visual. So I was right in what I was saying. And then we've got a troll in the comments. Hello, John. I wonder whether you were as frustrated as I was. You can, if you want to come in, of the links here in the chat. But I mean, seriously, I don't know how bad your team were, but I was like,
oh, referees. Let's link the 2 matches. I'll ask you, what did you think of the referee for our match?
I didn't have a problem with the referee. You know, he was even. It wasn't like it was biased, one-sided. I didn't think he was great with some of his decisions, but I thought it was an even display.
That's basically my take as well. I think he was a reasonably crap ref. He let go too many fouls, but he did it for both teams pretty much. So from that point of view, I think he was fair to both teams, but I didn't find him to be a good referee. But so be it.
Good referee pulls up the bad plays, and then beyond that tries to stay out of the match and let the play flow. That's what I think a good referee is. Yeah.
However, if John comes in, he will rant about their referee.
Oh, will he?
Oh, he will. Yeah. Missed penalties and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've not seen it. Like I said, after the game, I was so frustrated. I literally checked out of all championship results for the weekend. Did not know. Haven't updated the footy tips. I'll do that later today, my time. It's morning for me. I will update it. So I don't know how we all went yet, but I will have it ready for the boys for tomorrow. So yeah. If John comes in, I'll come in. Fun. Who are you, Matthew? What's stopping you? I mean, what is PC loading? There we go. Okay, is Commodore 64 trying to boot up? So there we go. That was my first ever.
Interesting comment there from Andrew C. Here. Josh was correct during the watch along. We were too passive, passing the ball backwards, which was very frustrating to watch. We played on our back heels. Now, that is something I noticed when we were playing, is passing the ball backwards. We were very, very quickly going from their third back to our defensive line. They didn't seem to be looking up for sideways passes. They didn't seem to be looking up for other options. And they were playing a lot of the backwards football that I really detest in modern football without a legitimate reason. And that's the problem with our team, I think, is we're not yet fast enough, quick enough at moving that ball around. So going backwards for us is not great. It doesn't help our style of play that much. And it's very interesting that there is a mix of players on our team, some of them very good at passing and some of them not great. And I think you could see it in this match, that they weren't confident. There was some that were confident and passed some amazing passes, splitting through the defense and through other players. But there were players not confident because they were pressured by a strong team.
I did notice Kabore was more heavily marked this match, and so we were going through Longman more and still trying to push through the wings. But I actually noticed some of our players really pushing through the centre this game, which I didn't mind. But and when Broadhead came on, he really tried just to do it. Yeah, interesting. Talking about refs. Wait up. Nope, sorry. Wayne, sorry, that was meant to be you. Yeah, another comment come up. Wayne said, Bill Harrigan, best matches to play and watch when he refereed. Less penalty, let them play. Yeah, he's a rugby league referee that just used to let the play flow, and it was awesome to watch those games. They were the best. So, yeah. And look at that. Matthew could not wait anymore. He's like, screw John. I'm here. I'm having a crack. So, anyway, let's get him on in here, eh? What do you reckon, Paddy?
Yeah.
How are you, Matthew?
Good. I'm doing fantastic. You know what? I actually came in to say hello to you, Ken. Like, Ken, you didn't even know who I was.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you don't spend enough time on the Discord.
Hit me with it, Matthew. I'm sorry, I don't spend a lot of time on the Discord, but it is your debut, isn't it? On the show?
Well, oh, you know what? Should I do
an origin story? You got to do an origin story.
Well, then let's. All right. Well, then, how I love Wrexham and TLP, by the way. I actually know all of you, and
well, you're right. Keep going. It's all good.
Waiting for you to catch up, Ken.
No, it's you. It's you.
No, it's you, Matthew.
I know. I've actually done 3 shows with Josh, and yeah, exactly, Ken. I've never actually spoken with you, but great.
So sorry.
I'm like, what we're talking about here is there's such amazing things that Wrexham is doing, and it looks detrimental, in my opinion.
What's detrimental?
It's only going forward. Okay, perfect.
Cool.
Why are we going to succeed? Nothing. There's nothing that is going to be detrimental.
So you see it, just give it time and it'll come together.
Oxford's game is going to be a test.
Okay.
Oxford's game is going to, yes.
Yep. I'll bring
John.
Dave Foster was here, but he's out. But I thought I'll throw John.
We have Mr. Merrill. That guy. They're only 17th. We're 18th. So
Yeah, you're in the mud.
Now, John, just quickly,
fair enough.
Paddy's
Yeah.
telling me that you're going to be unhappy with the refereeing in your game. How was your game? Give us the feed. Yeah, and Dave, jump back in if you want to.
Yeah, the referee was pretty horrific, to be fair. For both teams, he lost control of the game pretty early on. He missed a blatant penalty in the first half where Anderson just basically got barged over. In the defender panicked. He just pushed him in the back, pushed him over, didn't give a penalty. There was a whole melee as well in the first half where we had a breakaway and one of their players just sized Patrick Roberts down, just took him out right in front of the fourth official. Referee didn't even see it, didn't blow his whistle for a foul. It enraged everyone. I think that's when it all kicked off on the touchline. And then we flattened one of their players in the preceding moments after that. The referee booked, I think it was people from both benches, and then booked Stansfield and booked everyone else. Yeah, and then to top it all off, we rightly got a player sent off, Jack Robinson doing Jack Robinson things, and that ultimately cost us the game. But in the second half, we have a breakaway where Stansfield's running through. I wouldn't say he's running through on goal, but there's no defender near him and he's out wide. And one of their players just basically takes him out, who's already been booked. And then the referee books a different old player. So didn't even book the guy that was on the yellow card who committed the foul. So which summed up the whole performance of the referee. So and the annoying thing was we didn't actually play too badly. Attacking wise, we were really, really good. I think we had something like 24 shots in the whole game. We just made two stupid errors to concede two early goals. I'll say early goals, but the two first goals. The third goal, we're basically playing a midfielder at centre back and a winger at left back. So
okay. Well, Dave, welcome in. I've just heard why Birmingham are going to get relegated. What were your thoughts on the weekend?
Well, I was reluctant to come in because I've been upset all weekend, going through some personal stuff. I was livid before the match even started. So I come in and all the comments flying about how the play was going, that riled me up quite a bit.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to come in here, but saw that nobody was in, so that's why I was queuing up. So
now, clearly, Matthew knows. I don't watch every show because he's already been on. Have you been on before?
I have never been on.
Right. Origin story. We need to know how you got into Wrexham, where you're from, and who's your favourite host. And if you say John, you'll immediately.
I'll abstain from the last one, but I was really close to moving to Thailand for long-term full-time missions work and was trying to assimilate to the culture. And growing up an NFL fan, that was my sport, but I realized to assimilate into the culture, I needed to pick up football, the real football, right? And right at the time that I was doing that, in comes Welcome to Wrexham. And I even told people in Wales when I was there back in April, it's like, at that point, I was like, screw Man U, screw Man City. I'm a Wrexham man through and through. So
as soon as you said screw Man, you just got me as a fan. And where's home for you?
Richland, Washington, southeast corner of Washington State.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so frustrating weekend for you, obviously, as it was for us. Now, Okay, well, I'm going to give. Why don't we give the two new boys? Give me a prediction on where you think we're going to finish this season. Are we going to finish? Where are we going to finish on the table? And is it going to be ahead of Birmingham? That's what we want to know. Matthew, I'll let you go first.
Oh, well, shit. No, that's unfair. John's here, too. So it's like that's both of us going against each other.
Okay, well then, Dave, come on, have a crack at it. I think Matthew needs a deeper thing.
Where are we going to finish?
100%, I say
Go
10th.
ahead.
We will finish 10th. We'll finish 10th. That's we, and possibly we actually might push. The one thing I want to say is like the Oxford game coming up is going to be a determining factor. Because then we run into what, Middlesbrough and Coventry, which are huge games. If we win those, well then we'll see.
Okay. Well, Dave, let's get on to you then. Dave,
Merrill, how is Birmingham doing though? It's like you guys should be exact same thing.
Hang on, Matt. We're just asked Dave the same question.
Yeah, Dave. So we're here. What's your thoughts then on us?
So I'm one of those people that when I make a prediction, I stick by it, as painful as it could end up being. My prediction in the beginning was between 8 and 10, and I stand by that, as difficult as that is after yesterday's match.
Well, I'm gonna say welcome to the Optimist Show, John. I reckon you might be a little bit harsher than that on us.
Well, I think I actually finished in, what is it, 14th, 15th?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, you still reckon it could be that high?
Yeah, I think so. It's still. I think the one thing both of us are struggling with at the moment is we've had a lot of changes to the squad, shall we say, and I think we're both struggling in the sense of, you know, I'm not going to say gelling because it's too late in the season to see that. I think both managers are, shall we say, struggling to get the right players in the right areas to play the right way. So it's not a settled, consistent game plan team. You know, I think if I was to ask you guys, same with us, do you think he'll pick a consistent 11 for the next 6 games? Probably not. I think, you know, chops and changes. So yeah, I think the one thing is, I think both of us are just going to have to be realistic and think that actually we're not as good as we think we were come start of the season. And I think both of us have to be realistic and think that our transfer business probably wasn't quite as good as we actually thought it was off the bat as well.
Thoughts on that, Paddy?
Yeah, I'm still as positive as I was.
What you're saying?
Yeah, the thing is, we have changed style, and what that means is not only do the new players have to get used to how we're playing, but our older players have to get used to it as well. So that's part of the issue. We started the season with our weaker squad from League One. It took us a while to get our new players in. So yes, I wouldn't say it's a gelling issue at the moment, but it's still taking time for everybody to get comfortable with the new system. Interesting question then is, are they good enough to play that system? And in this last match, I thought we looked very slow with our passing. And I questioned, our team good enough to play that standard moving forward? And I hope it's just that we ran into an extremely solid defense and counter-attack that just didn't suit us. They are at the top of the table at the moment. So, look, it is what it is. But Oxford, the next one, is an important match because we need to get some points on the board. If we can pull the 3 points from Oxford, who I'm sure everybody will say that they're down the bottom of the table, they are a team we're expecting to beat. So if we get those 3 points, that allows us the 1 point per game average that we're currently on, and that will slide us through the next two very dangerous matches if we should lose both of them. We will still likely be just above relegation when we come into our final 4 or 5 matches of the half, and they're technically easier matches. Now, we might be able to pull some points from those matches. I'm not saying that they're absolute losses, but you certainly don't want to run into Oxford and lose to them and go in on a 2-loss streak into 2 of the most dangerous matches of the season.
Fair call, fair call. Now, I will just quickly say before I cross back to you, Matt, comments like this, Dan, will get you banned from the show. You're not allowed to agree with John, okay? Just saying. Matthew, what went wrong with us on Saturday? What went wrong?
Honestly, in my opinion, nothing. When you look at it, it's a bad thing to say nothing, but we have been doing nothing.
Okay.
We have every single key there, and it's like and I know Merrill will kill me on gel, but it's like the team is finally coming together. It's when you watch, but when they're pushing forward, they come back, and it's like they're in such a defensive mode all the time. It's like when they go, it's like, and they can't relaunch. They can't relaunch.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And Dave, your thoughts on that?
So yesterday, what I saw really comes across to me as a dud of a weekend for both of the teams we're talking about here. And I believe that it's an outlier. I'm hoping I'm not proved wrong in the next couple of weeks. But I thought that whatever was going on yesterday, that it just didn't look like the same formations, the same energy, the same heart as what we've been seeing the last several weeks. I really thought we were on a path towards improving week to week, even if we weren't seeing the results that we wanted to see. And yesterday was a huge setback for them. One of the keys that I saw yesterday that has been massively frustrating all season so far is when O'Brien gets out on his own up front, one-on-one with the goalie, nothing happens. Often he's not even getting a pass off. And that's really frustrating to see.
Yeah. That worried me this weekend, actually. Yeah. I wonder if we should pull him back further and have him in the Dobson role so he has a few more people ahead of him.
Sure.
The problem I saw with Dobson last season was he was very good at the defensive duties, but you knew when he had the ball at his feet, if he had to attack himself, it was not going anywhere. And we just knew that about Dobson. And now the problem with O'Brien is he's very good. He's very skillful, but he has not finished. And this was said about him when we signed him, that he's very streaky, that he will go on a run where he will score from those positions. But he also goes on long runs where he doesn't, which essentially means he's a poor finisher. That's the long and short about it, essentially, is if you go on streaks like that, it means you're a poor finisher.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to say that in the last month, I've seen improvement in our team. We haven't got any of the results, but the problem is all teams improve.
Yeah.
So therefore, just because we've improved doesn't mean we're going to get it done. I love the idea of possibly bringing O'Brien back into the Dobbo role. And I'm assuming everybody would agree we're going to put Broadhead on in that spot. Would anybody want anything different?
No, I'd be in for that.
Yeah, John, what do you want for us? Would you like that?
What? You keep losing? Yeah.
Oh, Matthew's dived out. Okay, must have been having some technical issues.
No, I think that the problem that both sides have probably had is I think both managers are probably striving to find a solution to that consistently works. I think both of us have had good results and good performances. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really watched any of your games in detail apart from obviously when you played us. Have you guys put a 90-minute performance together this season, or have you been a bit like us where you've been really good for one half? Or
yeah, exactly the latter.
Yeah, and I think we all have to be a little bit realistic and also say, I mean, what have we played 10 games now? League table don't lie in a matter of sense. You know, you can get some odd results in the first 4 or 5 games, but 10 games, you know, yeah, you still expect to see a lot of difference in the final standings, but 10 games in, it's a true reflection of how you've started the season. So I think if we're both being honest, looking at it, you'd say we've had pretty pants starts, haven't we, compared to what we thought we would see.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been a very frustrated individual all weekend, and Dave came in with the same comment, and I totally get you. So I'm just going forward then. Okay, so Josh asked the question, and I'm going to leave. I don't really want to touch it, which is when would Parky be in danger? I think he's got plenty of time left yet, but that's my opinion. But I mean, I'll let you all have a crack at it. Go round the horn. We'll go anti-clockwise. Start with you, Dave.
Okay. I've been one that's been pretty vocal about defending Parky in many ways. What I saw last season, I thought was much more impressive than what I heard from others on how he dealt with the injuries we were working through as a team. So I was impressed that we came out of there into the championship. But that being said, where we're at right now, I can't help but going back to what our team has a history of doing in the last 5 years. And I think where we're at in January will speak leaps and bounds and volumes as to whether they're going to start looking elsewhere. So January.
Okay, this season. There we go. John?
I'll answer it for both managers, ours and yours.
Yours is gone, but
no.
At least according to Aaron. According to Aaron.
Yeah, according to Aaron. If you listen to all the noises that come out of our ownership in our club, he's under no pressure. They are like literally 100% behind the philosophy, the whole sort of gravy train. I do think in both managers' cases, I think this upcoming international break is a big one. I think both of them need, I wouldn't say loads of points. I think they need some points. I mean, we've both got 5 games left, haven't we, in the league between now and the international break. I think, for argument's sake, if both of us lost 4 and drawn 1 of the next 5, I think both are in a little bit of hot water come the international break. I won't lie, because it's the last international break before the January window. So it's the one where ownership takes stock. That's the one they look at. You know, if you're going to make a change, you make it then, because then it gives the new manager time before the January transfer window. I don't think either of us are going to go and lose 4 out of the next 5, just saying. But I would say that's a situation I could see. I sort of agree with Dave there. I think both of them realistically probably get till Christmas time. And I think if both of us are probably, shall we say, hanging around where we are now, come Christmas, I think both are in a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
I think obviously the expectations for us are a lot higher. And I think the other thing is, I think the amount of money you guys have spent, I don't think you can realistically, as an ownership, turn around and say where you're sat now. If you're sat there on Christmas, I think you'll turn around to Phil Parkinson and saying we spent 30+ million quid and we're 17th. That's not good enough.
Well, Paddy, you get the last word.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with John there. If our results are disastrous between now, there's a chance he would be.
I warned everybody.
He would be in danger, right? But personally, I do think he will get to Christmas to see exactly where we are. Our Christmas run-in is a little bit weaker for the end of the first half. So to me, it makes sense not to rush things because, as you said, at the next international break, they could potentially start meetings about it and say, okay, look, the results are not great. We're certainly going to give him till the January window, but we need to start discussing, do we need to make a change? Should we make a change or what? But in my mind, he has to be in real relegation danger with his results in order for them to consider it. Because I think they will push it till next summer if they feel that he will keep them up. That will be enough. It may not be enough to save his job next summer if we just survive or end up, 16th, 17th or whatever by just 6 points or something. That might not be enough for him to keep his job next summer, but I don't think they're going to be in a rush to pull that trigger.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to go on record saying he's safe for the whole season. But I'm then going to go back because John I'm not going to say I agree with him because I won't do it, but he made a very, very interesting point when he said...
So you agree with me then? Okay, yeah.
No, I'm saying you make an interesting point.
But it's wrong.
The fact that you said the next few games are important up to the next international break.
Yeah.
If you're correct, which I don't think you are, there we go. We got a tough run to the next international break. We really do.
Okay, so the extra matches are Charlton and Portsmouth.
Charlton
to make 5.
John Merrill's favourite manager, Nathan Jones.
But look, they've got the results.
That's my point. He's getting
playing well.
The job done for survival. 100%. Hats off to him. Doing it well.
Different pressure, though, isn't it? He's facing different. It's different pressure.
Would you say they go in with we were the last team to get promoted. There's less pressure on us to stay up. Yeah, of course, every team wants to stay up at least. Other teams have high aspirations of going up. But 3 out of 24 teams go up. The other 21 teams are all fighting just to stay in the championship. Actually, that's not the right way to say it. But anyway, I would say that, he's getting it done. And I'll go back to how I started out the show. You have to take your opportunities. And I've watched so many opportunities slip by to score goals and gain a win or a draw in the last 6 matches that we could be in a totally different position. But I guess the same can be said for every team. But it's the team that takes the opportunities that then doesn't have to worry.
Yeah, I will say with our performances, we have been missing chances. And our play hasn't been amazing. But for me, we don't look like a relegation side. We are getting...
Sorry, Paddy. Yeah, I just had to put
when
that
I saw
up.
it, I knew. Yeah, you'd have to.
Can you imagine the show we're going to have with John if that happens?
He has been interviewed for the Birmingham job in the past. He has gone for it before.
And how did you stop him from getting it, John?
Well, I didn't. We appointed some idiot instead. So
sorry to interrupt you, Paddy. That was just too good to miss. It was too good to miss.
Yeah. So I was saying, I don't think we look like a relegation side. Even with the chances we have been getting, almost every match we were within striking distance of being able to win it. But we didn't take those chances. So I'm not going to assume that those chances are just going to go away and we're going to become a worse team. I'm still on the more positive mindset that things will get better and our results will improve, which will get us mid-table. And then you get back to the Parky question. If they don't improve, well, at what point is he in danger? If they stay really poor, January.
Interesting. Well, okay. Well, let's go down this route. Just let's have a look. I'm going to bring up. Here we are. I think that's the one. Yes, this is what I need. Okay, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll go first to make it easier for everybody. Who's going to get relegated this season? I'll go. Sheffield Wednesday, Derby County, and Norwich. And we'll go clockwise this time. We'll go top to bottom. So, Paddy?
Okay. I'm going to cheat a little bit and say it's going to be 3 out of the bottom 6, and I'm going to remove Sheffield United. They're not going to go down. But my 3 would be Sheffield Wednesday, Derby, and Norwich.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, not Norwich, Oxford. Sorry, mixing
Oxford.
up my teams.
Okay,
Oxford.
so you've got Oxford.
Oxford instead of Norwich, yeah.
Okay. John?
I think Sheffield Wednesday's a given because they're going to get a points deduction, so you can probably write them off straight away. I think Blackburn go, and I have a sneaky feeling Derby go because I think they sack Eustace.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that would be the right decision personally.
You're a big supporter of Eustace.
I'm not a big supporter of his football.
But getting the job done for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Derby County and you sack a manager and you're in a relegation battle, John Eustace is the type of manager you go and get, if you know what I mean. But I just think it hasn't kind of worked at the start of this season, and I fear they will because the results bin him, and I think that'll be detriment, and I think they'll go because of it.
No, well, Dave, now, I mean, let's get the voice of an expert's opinion.
I wouldn't go that far, but Ken, I know you'll appreciate that I won't pass on this opportunity now that I'm following John to say, John, I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn, and Oxford. That's who I see going down.
Okay, there we go. Well, interesting. So, I mean, it is tough, isn't it? I mean, with Sheffield Wednesday going to get a points deduction, it's pretty much a given. I mean, and then
they're not going to get through the season without a deduction. No way.
No. And then if you think about it now, like how many points Leicester's going to get deducted? 9 or 12? What do we reckon, boys? I'm going to say 9.
Let's just say 12 for the fun of it. They'll still survive. They're still going to be in around playoffs.
Oh, I wasn't going there, Paddy. I'm going with 12 points. Well, okay, we'll use the 12 points, gets them down to 5 points. That puts them 12 points off the playoffs. I think they'll still make the playoffs.
So they could still make the playoffs. Currently 1.7 a match. Yeah, that's decent.
Would you be comfortable with that, John?
Yes, I do think they draw too many games, but I think they sort that out, if I'm honest. I think they'll get stronger as the season goes on.
They're too good, aren't they?
I hate saying too good. They've got probably 3 or 4 players that are probably a little bit too good for this level, which separates them from the rest.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So it's interesting that, obviously Sheffield Wednesday's a given, but then with those teams, like none of us said Sheffield United. We all probably think Sheffield United's too good to stay there for the whole season. And as scary as it is to say for Birmingham's number 1 fan and John and Wrexham, the fact is, we've got to start doing good things. Otherwise, we come into that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, you can't deny that. As much as you want to be a one-eyed fan and be supportive, and I don't think we're going to get relegated, but you put 3 more losses on the bounce, and you're in the conversation.
One of the things I was thinking about when we were talking about Parky and the safety and security of his position is looking at the 10 matches that we have, what games would you say show us good hope for the season?
That's
So-
a good question.
That's tough to answer right now, and we need to find an answer to that. Parky needs to find an answer to that.
Well, I'm going to answer that in a little bit of a different way. I don't think it matters who we play. I think it matters how we play. Because Paddy's suggestion of bringing O'Brien back, I think, is a great idea. What I worry about, and I want to bring Broadhead on in that position, is how we rotate players, how we bring players on at whatever minute of the game, because we know 75 minutes ain't working. And he did come earlier this game. And you look at some teams' benches and they just scream quality, and our team is getting back to closer to full strength, but every team is going to be have troubles with injuries through the season.
Yeah,
So-
different points, yeah.
Yeah. So how are we going to go? You know, that's what I'm worried about. We're not yet.
We have been improving generally. I think our passing play has gotten better. I don't think it's quite good enough yet. We seem somewhat comfortable with the 3-4-2-1 style. It's not perfect yet, but that's okay. The one big thing that needs to be addressed for me moving forward is, what do we do without Kiefer Moore up front? We haven't, as far as I can see, got an easy solution to that yet. We haven't played with it. We haven't played without Moore, and we need to figure that part out. And Kakache needs to step up on that left wing. He needs to show that he is a lot better than Longman, because if not, we might even have to be considering a new left wing back in January to replace Kakache and put him on the bench if he can't do it. Because at the moment we're lopsided, and it's very clear we're lopsided. So they're starting to push out to the right-hand side on top of Kabore.
Yep. Okay, so John, there's two questions to answer there. Do you think Kakache can step up and be good enough? And B, do we need a big man up front? Do you need Kiefer Moore? Can a Sam Smith play up front?
Sam Smith can play up front, but probably not Sam Smith, if that makes any kind of sense. You need a better version of a Sam Smith to play up front at this level. I'll be blunt. He's probably not good enough, is he? Yes, I would say you probably... Do you need a target man? Probably not, but you need a physical presence up top for the way that a Parky plays. For instance, you couldn't put Kyogo up front for you guys. It wouldn't work, if you know what I mean. You would need some physicality up there. It doesn't necessarily need to be a brute like Moore, someone in between, a Kone, that type of player.
Ollie Palmer?
Oh, God. Stop.
Even I'm not that bad. But yeah, I mean, I think the problem. I still think you signed Broadhead to play up front. I still believe that. I just think he's been taken a little bit by how good Moore started the season for you. I think by the sounds of things, in the last few games, Moore has probably transitioned back into what we probably saw at Sheffield United, which is more of an impact player and somebody that doesn't start games. But I don't know where you guys are better answer than me, whether Parky's tailored his tactics around that big man up front and sort of built the side around that. I don't know. If you take Moore out and you played a Broadhead or a less physical guy up front, do you think the system and the style works?
That's a good question. Dave, I'm going to let you have your say on it.
So that is a great question. And I was thinking about this last week about how I wonder if Parky has adjusted how we play up front in a negative way for Moore, where it's kind of reining him back, but changing the play up front to allow somebody else to come in there and fit in a little better. As far as whether I think Sam Smith can can fill in. I would say probably for a match or two, depending on what those matches were. But I think if we were without him for 6 weeks, I think we'd be in big trouble.
Okay. There's an interesting comment. To be fair, Moore, Windass and O'Brien are way too far away from him and he has no support. Put Broadhead in there and he will be much closer to Moore. And look at that. John Shake nodding his head in agreement.
Yeah.
I thought against us, that was the one thing that was screaming out. It was that Moore was, the longer that game went on, the more and more he was isolated on his own. And he's not you can afford to allow to be isolated because he has no mobility. So, you know, he can win the ball and hold up the ball to an extent, but unless you've got people around him, he will just lose the ball. He's not the sort of player that's going to hold off players, you know, keep the ball, dribble away from them and that. So you need bodies around him. And I think the thing that showed or worried, I wouldn't say worried me, but the concern I would have for you guys is that the longer that game went on against us, he got more and more isolated and your manager did nothing to change it whatsoever.
Yeah. My take on that is that we have been weak around the park in different positions all season so far. We have had some of the new players get injured. We have had to use our League One team for the start of the season. And my thought is that he is allowing time for all the players to get into the rotation and to get very comfortable playing on the ground and playing passing balls, because if you're not comfortable there, you're not going to get the service up to Broadhead at the front. And I think he brought Broadhead in for that reason, is to take over, but he's not comfortable or hasn't been yet with the squad that's on the pitch. So he has kept Kiefer Moore up the front to allow the old school long balls, which half our players are used to and will naturally go to when they get pressured or can't get past players. So I think he's playing a double game in that way. And I think his hope, certainly by January, is that Kiefer Moore goes to the bench and comes on as the impact sub, which would, I think, be fantastic to have as an impact sub. But we need the players more comfortable to play to him and give him service. And we have said for the last couple of seasons, our strikers do not get as much service as they should because we're not playing the ball low to them. So it is something new to the team that he needs to work out.
Is it too simplistic to say Moore is probably the only striker you have of that mould, isn't he? The big target
Yes.
man. There isn't anyone. Is it too simplistic to say that he was clearly signed as an impact sub? Because all your other, shall we say, forward options are very similar in that regard. Do you think he was always bought as maybe he was the plan B, but he just started so well that maybe he's become plan A?
It's a pretty fair comment, John, because I mean, it's the system we knew. You know, you look, you know, and I know, you know, everybody goes on about Ollie Palmer, but and me as well. Look, Ollie Palmer's record for starting with us, we won matches. Now, admittedly, lower leagues, and he's not championship quality. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm going to say is that style was a winning style for Parky. It was what he knew, and it was his comfortable place. This is how we go. So I tend to agree with you there. I guess the answer to that then is, the question coming out of that then is, if he is the plan B, what was the plan A?
Yeah, because I look at it and go, to me, it feels like, well, he can't be clearly plan A, because if he was plan A, you would have signed a like-for-like big target man that could come on and replace him in games. Or, you know, if he got injured, you still got that, you know, that type of striker ready to go.
There's a man with wisdom. Would have kept Fletcher. But yeah, so to answer the question then, what would have been the plan A out of our current squad if we're playing that 3-4-2-1? Who's the one? And I've got everybody thinking.
Well,
is it Broadhead? Is it Hardy? Is it Smith? Is it, you know, who is it?
Hardy worries me that he has not been playing lately. We have heard nothing about injury for him. And he could simply have been overlooked because he was our first striker. Good deal, cheap, nice quality for the championship. But then it was said that when we moved on to Broadhead, things had changed. They had changed their mind a little bit. And it looks like he's been overlooked now, which I'm unsure about, like why. But yes, if it's just Broadhead and Kiefer Moore were our main new striking additions, then it has to be Broadhead.
Broadhead, okay. Dave?
So something that Patty alluded to there that I definitely saw through the summer is adding 13 players. It's really easy to have a plan going in, but once the pieces start falling into place, you get distracted or you have to move in different directions than you originally intended. So I don't have the answer for it, but it really is a good question.
What bloody good are you, Dave? We want answers here today.
Is it the choice B? Plan A or Plan B? I don't know the answer to that. Hardy definitely has been a disappointment, not because of what he's done, but what he's not had the opportunity to do for us. So.
Yeah, I'm worried to get John to find the solution for us because he might just be deliberately trying to sabotage us. But I'll let him have it. Say, what do you think, John?
Lyndon Dykes, there's your solution. It'll cost you a few £1 million, be fine. No, I who knows? That's why we're not football managers, really, isn't it? I think if we cross from my side of things, we don't really have too many of those problems. We have a lot of discussion over on our side of who plays up front, who plays the 9, but we're very fluid. So like it can be Stansfield, Kyogo, it chops and changes. I think the problem you guys probably have at the moment is you're very sort of shoehorned into how you play. So I don't see. I agree with a few people in the chat. I mean, I think Hardy's done. I think he would, if he had a future, he would have been involved by now. He was brought in at the start of the window. Obviously, was a cheap deal. Yeah, you can do it, but then I just think you've signed better players, and he's just gone down the pecking order. But the thing I don't. Parky's he's a little bit like Davis in his way. He's got his principles, and he sticks to them.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so Parky and Davis, I think, are very sort of similarly, a bit deep rooted in their sort of, they stick and they won't twist, if you know what I mean. So, no, I think the problem you guys is you have very much a set way of playing, and can he really change too much? I mean, like I said, I think he's brought Broadhead as a striker, but does Broadhead really suit the style that you've got at the moment? The only other option is Smith, who's unproven at this level. Yeah, it's a tough one. Where I don't think a lot changes between now and January. If I'm honest, for you guys, I think it's kind of Parky's made his bed with the way he set up the side and with Moore, and I think as long as Moore is fit, he starts, and I don't think it will change.
Okay, I'm going to ask a hard question to you, John, and you can have your say as well, Dave, if you want. Do you think if we change the manager, could we achieve better results with the team we currently have? Do you think there's a manager there that we could just swap him out?
Ooh.
And there's a much bigger likelihood of doing better than we currently are?
Well, then you fall into the Birmingham City trap. Oh, let's just change manager. Mm-hmm. And then, it's a good question because
I think it's extremely dangerous. Let me just put that out there. I don't like that idea. I think there's a lot of downside in the changeover to managers. So that's just me. I'm not aiming for Parky. I'm just curious what you think.
I think it depends on what your justification for changing, if you know what I mean. If it's because results are bad and you're just doing terrible, and then you want to uplift and you think it's not working, then yeah, if you wanted to change the style or the philosophy, Could another manager come in with the current squad and do better? I'd say it's probably tough because I think, there's many ways of playing football, but notoriously you've either got a possession-based attacking football or you've got a sit-back counter-attacking style of football or long ball. I would say you guys have signed some players which probably try to cross the divide. I think you've signed the likes of Lewis O'Brien and Sheaf and that, who are players that I think could play both styles. I don't think you've got enough of players in the playing squad to move away from your current style. So, if you wanted a possession-based manager, no, I don't think they'd get a better. Do I think you could replace Parky with a similar philosophy style manager and get better results with this team in this level? Yeah, I do. Sadly. Simple.
Yeah, if you go on the idea that the owners of Wrexham are comfortable with like a 2-year system to get us to be top-end championship squad, then you have to say that they're willing to accept this midterm where we haven't got all the players we need. That if we are changing to a possession-based style, they know they can't do it in one window. In which case they will persevere with whatever we can achieve this season, and then just re-up next summer. And there'll be another half squad coming in, very high-level players to boost the squad again. But for me, I think they're going to go another 30 million next summer. But instead of being on 13 different players, it's going to be on 5 or 6, with maybe a free agent in there or whatever. And it'll just be much higher quality that'll come in.
I think it's a very dangerous thing to do, changing your philosophy and your team or of your club. We've, you guys probably haven't followed Birmingham for until recent times, but we've tried to do it like 3 or 4 times over times. We've notoriously been typically a low block, horrible side, long ball side. We were for like over a decade. That's been Birmingham all over, and we've tried to move away from that to go to a different style. And it's ended disastrously every single time, because you try and do it too quickly. And everyone in football says, if you want to change the philosophy, it takes, it's not just like 2 or 3 weeks, it takes years. They say, it takes like 3-4 seasons before you can, it's not just like, it's like, right, this is how we're going to play, guys. It's embedding that into your squad, and it's your entire squad, and getting players that are comfortable playing that, because, you're not going to get them all out. As we did when we went down to League One. The flip side, the quick way of doing it is when you're in a predicament where you can essentially jettison 18, 19 players and bring in 19 players, and completely change everything. Even that is incredibly risky, and it doesn't often work. It was the perfect storm, because you go down the league and you spend loads of money, so you've got the quality, factor in there. But I agree with you, Paddy. I don't think they will change anything, because if you're going to go and spend another 30-odd million in the coming summer, like you said, and you spend it on 5-6 players, well, you're not going to change the philosophy over that. You're going to start. You're going to sign similar philosophy type players to fit what you're doing now, but just better quality. You've kind of made your bed, and if you were going to change philosophy in it, you would have done it this summer. If you know what I mean, you would have started this summer.
Changing philosophy requires some good depth on your team, or some really core versatile players who can make those changes. It looked to me early on that Longman could have been one of those core versatile players, but he hasn't been quite as good as I would have liked to have seen, yesterday aside. But further than that, with the squad that we currently have, if we were to change from Parky and go with another manager, who's that going to be? And is he going to do better with the same philosophy, the same playing style, the same formations? because that's the team that we have right now is created for that. And right now, I just don't see that happening. So even though I mentioned earlier that if things were bad enough, I could see January being the time where discussions would be had. That doesn't mean that I think that Parkey will be replaced this year at all. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that.
I think the other thing we all have to factor in is also everyone sort of says about changing managers and stuff. Sometimes it's not necessarily in your hands. I say that with a bit of tongue in cheek, but if you're the ownership group and, say for instance, your ownership and, you're heading to, you get past this international break, but say there's a manager that becomes available for the right money, all of a sudden those discussions start happening. So, hold on, we don't, we're not in a position where we would want to sack Parkinson, but we could get this guy. And, if we don't act now, he might be gone in a month's time. And
Sure.
those are the decisions. It's the same with us with Dave. As a lot of Birmingham fans say, a lot of them say, he slightly under pressure, blah, blah, blah. If somebody better than Davis becomes available and our ownership group go, we can actually get him, I don't think they'd hesitate. If things were getting to that point, you don't have to be in sort of, last chance desperation, right? You've got to win the next game to save your job sort of thing. It all depends on the market. It depends who you can get. I mean, I think there's a few out of work managers. I mean, I think the most obvious one that's on a lot of people's, lips of clubs that are struggling is you've got Danny Rull, the ex-Sheffield Wednesday manager, who has a proven track record of taking over a team and a squad which are completely in disarray and molding them into a half decent championship with absolutely nothing, resource wise to his name. And a lot of people kind of think, well, with resources, he could do wonders. And it's like the old term, isn't it? Whenever a manager is out of work, they become a better manager every week they're out of work, if you know what I mean. So I think, it's one of those where I think if and when the time ever comes, people can be surprised, but at times it's more to do with the market, of the managerial market as well.
That's a good point, and I do agree with that as well. Like if you are considering it in the long term, say around January, weak results, and you're kind of okay, look, we might have to consider the summer here for Parkey. Yeah, if someone amazing became available, say someone in the Prem again got dropped, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to wait till next season or whatever, can we get him? Would he drop to the Championship for Wrexham? Maybe he likes the limelight and the extra that comes with it. Okay, it's not a Prem team, but they have a bit about them and what have you. Would they do it? Possibly. Yeah, of course, if something comes available. But yeah, I don't think, considering we're the Hollywood FC team, they're not looking for a Hollywood manager. I don't think they would be overly worried about the shiny new manager and the big name. It would be simply about how good they were. But if that manager becomes available, yeah, potentially.
It's very much like players, isn't it? Sometimes you might want a player in the summer, but he becomes available to you in the window before, and sometimes you have to push the boat out because you think, well, okay, we're not, we can get him now with less competition than we are in the summer. So works for managers as well. So
yeah. Okay, another topic. We need another topic. What happened in the Championship this week? Any big topics? Chat.
Middlesbrough winning was big game on Friday night. Wasn't it? Surprised me, I have to admit. I think
Sheffield United winning surprised people.
do you know the worst thing is I did my usual in my footy tips. I put 1-0 Sheffield United and thought, no, don't be daft, John. 1-1 twat. I think Oxford beating Derby was a big one. That was a big relegation 6-pointer, and for Oxford to come out on top of that one, it probably doesn't make your game on. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday when you play them? That's made that game a lot more difficult now, I think. they're going to come bouncing off a 6-pointer. But I think that was a huge result for Rowett.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Sometimes I find when teams are kind of struggling for points and they get some, often they don't follow it up with another amazing performance either. So we can see what happens. Sometimes teams are happy. Oh, we just got some points. We're okay. A little bit of pressure is off. But yeah, I know they're very close. So they'll want to take us out.
Rowett's teams tend to do things in bunches. They're one of sort of those momentum teams. They get something and then a few results and then they'll sort of come back down and then go on a bit of a bad run. And so, yeah, I'm going to say it.
And our Sheffield United match is on Boxing Day. So they have plenty of time to get back into form before we have to play them.
I don't even know when we're going to play them. Hopefully when we do, we can just drop Jack Robinson back off and leave him there. So...
goalkeeper in the Middlesbrough match was amazing. Anybody watch the match?
Yeah, I did. The one thing I would say, and I may be interested to see what the chat says, and I don't know if you watched the game on Friday night. I thought the Ipswich defence, other than Leif Davis, who I think is a quality left back, probably one of the best in this division, I thought the Ipswich back line looked distinctly mid-table championship. I was really surprised how average they looked in general. And I think the funny thing is I got a West Brom mate who messaged me halfway through the game, and I'm surprised I didn't put it together before, but that Ipswich back line, other than Leif Davis, they're all ex-West Brom. They all played together for West Brom a few years back in this division. So you got Palmer, Kipre, O'Shea and Furlong, who of course they've just signed from West Brom. So I was kind of like, when I was sat there and my mate texted me, I was like, I'm not surprised it looks kind of average championship, because that was average championship back in those days. So I was a little bit surprised. I expected more from Ipswich.
Ken, you're back.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I'd got very important work call. I had to jump out. Sorry, guys.
How is Josh?
No, it was not Josh. There's no way I'd leave you guys for Josh. Just wouldn't happen. No way. Dave's way. No way I'd leave Dave to talk to Josh. It's just not going to happen. But no. Yeah. So how are we, boys? I've missed obviously the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've sacked Davis and Parkey. So.
Okay. Who do we need to replace?
Wayne Rooney and Stephen Gerrard.
Gerrard.
I suppose we're getting Rooney since you already had him.
Yeah, he'd get absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not sure he'd get back out of Birmingham again. So.
If we're going to sack Parkey, I want Ted Lasso.
There you go.
Sounds like Sean Dyche is the favourite for the Forest job as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ange, my boy, he's gone. Inevitable. Yeah. Shouldn't have gone there. He shouldn't have gone there.
Hey, look, here's one for you. Get rid of Parkey. I mean, Ange has pretty much killed his Premier League career. Championships the next route. Come on, Ken.
I'm telling you, if they got Ange and stuck with him and trusted him, he'd get it done. He's amazing. My hometown, he turned our team into an A-League winning team. It was unbelievable. And that's what got him going and got him into international football. And yeah, he is. People don't give him credit for actually how good he is. The unfortunate part is football is a rough industry, and you don't get time, especially in the Premier League.
Do you know where it all went wrong for Ange? When he lost his assistant manager.
Yeah.
Who was it, Ken?
No, don't you dare. I'm unhappy enough. I've had a hard enough day. People are so mean to me. So mean. Never liked the guy. Lots of mediocre play in the championship this past weekend. Watched a couple of Premier League games. Major difference this weekend. Oh, God, I don't know. Yeah, I quit at the quit on it. But anyway, boys, I am going to have to jump out. Paddy, I'm going to let you finish the show. Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure. Dave, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, never want to talk to you ever again, John. But
Pleasure, as ever. My fellow Blue Nose.
I'll catch up all the footy tips, guys. I'll get him in
Yeah.
the footy tips channel once I've mentally recovered from the weekend. On that bombshell, I'm out of here. You guys have
Take
fun.
care, Ken.
Take care again. Okay, we have another guest coming in. Habsfication is here. Yo, hello.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Hey, joining us late, but no problem. Jump in. Have you a topic you want to bring up?
I mean, I wanted to say the stuff about yesterday was mainly because we just looked shocking yesterday. We did. Just shocking. We were just playing volleyball the entire match. We weren't actually playing football.
Yeah, we were definitely playing it backwards a lot as well, which I didn't think suits our game at all. We're not that comfortable on the ball to play it back, because the problem with us is when we do play it back, then it just gets launched forward. So it doesn't really improve very much, which is a problem. If you start playing it back, you need to be looking for the side pass or turning around and attacking again. It's not our style. It's not going to suit us to play it all the way down to the back. We're going to end up with a long ball somewhere. Someone's going to get pressured and someone's going to boot it.
Can I ask a question regards to Stoke game for you guys who watched it?
Yeah.
Do you think, when you say, Habs, that you played shocking, do you think that was down to you, or do you think that was down to Stoke? Because I say that because when we played Stoke, we equally played shocking. Nowhere near, we didn't play our normal game at all. We reverted into sort of hoofing it into channels and just going completely away from our game plan. And when you mentioned how bad you said you guys played, I wonder if it's more to do with Stoke pushing both of us out of our comfort zone and forcing us to do something we didn't want to do, possibly.
Dave?
I would say it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
What happened yesterday is, and I don't know if this happened to you at Birmingham, but what we were doing was there was a lot of this launching the ball, and then we were just playing the game of volleyball with the head. We're just heading the ball around until Stoke got the ball. As soon as it lands, they take it, start controlling it at the back, and start finding space and passing channels to be able to break through our lines. And we just couldn't get any piece of control of this. And they were also getting massive turnovers. We just did not have a single piece of control of the ball. That's why our possession stats started going down significantly, because they just would not let us have the ball and were breaking through. They were finding space continuously, and they were using overloads on our wings, particularly on Kabore, because they just knew how to get through them.
And I made a comment in Discord yesterday, and I stand by it. I was waiting for a press release after the match, finding out that the whole team and staff all had food poisoning before the match, because just the level of play was so far off what I have seen in the other matches. It wasn't the same team. At least I certainly hope it's not the same team. I hope this was a dud and an outlier. But yeah, I know what you're saying, John, about when Birmingham played them, it was similar. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, we couldn't deal with their play out wide. It was Sorba Thomas, and I can't remember the other lad's name.
Thomas was good.
Yeah, we just couldn't. I don't think it doesn't sound similar to us. We had the majority of the possession, but they scored quite early and then just basically kind of sat back and said break us down. But they won the ball back quite high. They did kind of press us in our own area to win the ball back. But our biggest failing was we just couldn't deal with the pace and the counter attack and the movement out wide. Just couldn't deal with it at all. And yeah, we reverted into some weird sort of tactics of hoofing it into channels and stuff. But yeah, it was interesting because I came out of our game thinking, God, we were terrible, and I can't believe Stoke are as high as they were. But now hearing what you guys, I wonder if it's a byproduct of actually Stoke being better than I probably thought and actually forcing teams out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I think they did quite well. They did press us high until they scored, and when they scored, they reverted back into defence very quickly, because we started to get a lot more time on the ball. They did have difficulty breaking up our defence down for quite a long time. they didn't have many shots on AO that he had to actually save during the match. So we were doing quite well. We had a disgusting bouncing ball through our defense that nobody got a foot on and cleared. And AO had moved to the other side. He had moved to his right, waiting for a clear shot to come in at the near post. And then it bounced up and over our defenders who should have kicked it clear. And then he was facing the wrong direction, tried to dive back and couldn't stretch far enough. So it was a real messy goal. But once they had that goal, they went defensive. And some of our important players didn't play well. Windass had a very poor match. He was all over the place. He didn't seem settled. He was chasing the ball all the time. And he was in different positions on the pitch all through the match. So something wasn't comfortable there. And Lewis O'Brien, for the time he got on the ball, didn't finish anything. And he had a poor match as well. Kakache was double teamed out on the wing. I think he still played well. He was in our defensive line, helping keep them out. So he did his defensive duties well. He tried on the attack, but he was double teamed the whole time. So he was locked out. And unfortunately, Longman then on the other side did okay, but was kind of mediocre about it. And what I wanted to see from Longman is if Longman is not that comfortable crossing in on his left, I was actually thinking what he needs to do is push forward, turn around, and then cross in with his right, if he is that poor. Now, I think he can do it, but I was saying, well, why not do a switchback? And instead of playing it backwards, which Longman was doing a lot, and I did not like, he pushed up forward, couldn't go, turned around, and then passed it backwards. Where now, as soon as he turns around, he's on his strong foot. Why is he not looking out to the left to see where he can put that ball? And then about 10 minutes later, that's exactly how they scored their goal. Out on the wing, pulled it back, turned backwards, and then took a shot in, and then it bounced in through all the defenders in a messy one. But that's exactly the type of shot that Longman can be taking, or crossing in to other people as well, and keep that attack moving. Don't play backwards. I hated seeing the ball go from Longman all the way up on the corner wing back to our defense. Yeah, Randy G is saying it there. Yes, he is playing an inverted winger because he's playing on the wrong side. He's playing on his weak foot. He's doing okay. He's doing okay in the position. It's all we have, but it's not good enough. I don't think. Okay, Nick Donlan. I have said this before, and I'm going to keep it going. Anybody who agrees with me gets their comment posted up. Nick was thinking the same thing. Okay. Oh, Andrew C. Here we go. You get another one. Great point, Paddy. There we go. Right. Tom Evans. I think yesterday showed the team is lacking pace all over the field. Yes. Ding, ding, ding. We need some quicker players in there to actually play counter-attack. Sheaf played well, to be fair. I agree with the pace, but not for the same reason you said. We need people to play the counter-attack. We are simply getting caught too deep. Yesterday, we had 10 men in defense at most times. So then when you try a counter-attack, if you move too quickly, all you have is one man up the front. And that's it. He's lost. He's on his own. And if they still have 2 or 3 people behind, they're all chasing him down and there's nothing you can do, no support. So it can be quite tough on the counter. What do you guys think?
We had no ability to be able to play on the transition. There was just, if we were lucky, Moore was just up front. That was at best what we would have, or maybe Windass. But then we were just left being stuck in our own box most of the match. We were just being pressed and pressed and pressed constantly. And we were just stuck most of our time there. And it was just shocking. There was just no sense of urgency, and there was just no sense of wanting to just try and slow down and control the match at any point and then start pushing forward. Because we only really started playing our match as soon as the sub started to get really active around the 70th odd minute. That's when it, and then you could start seeing our game was starting to come into play around the 80th minute, and we were just ineffective the entire match.
Okay. Here's a question that I'm going to pull up from the chat. Madal, he didn't pose it as a question, but I will. Things seemed better with Kikache on the field. So I'm going to hit you with this one, Dave, first. Do you think we played better with Kikache when he came on instead of Longman?
So I don't know about that yesterday, but earlier matches that we've had earlier in the season, I definitely think the team as a whole played better with him, but then also O'Brien playing more back instead of more forward. He finds opportunities to create that linking play between the defense and the front line. And that linking play is something I have to mention it just because I've seen it work so well for the women. And I know that's a totally different sport, even though it's still football. But the linking play, I find very important. And I think that's the thing that we're failing at.
Okay. Habs?
It improved significantly. It was pushing forward. That's the one thing. As soon as Kakache and as well as Broadhead, you could see that they were trying to get the ball forward. That's the one thing you could see, but they were being, because you could see on the edges of the line, they were trying to get the ball constantly forward. Every time they were just pushing it in. You could tell how much more comfortable we were. Well, you could tell how much easier it was because of the way he's a natural left winger. Left footer, being able to get that ball, kicking it with his left foot. But there were just some times, but you could tell the squad just weren't as comfortable with him because there were many moments there where we had perfect space where we can get the ball to Kakache, and they just kept reverting back to going to the right instead of going to him. And we were only starting to get used to the left side being used when we had Longman there, but we just didn't utilize him in the same way. And you could just tell Broadhead was just trying to overdo it and work with Kakache, but it just turned into an absolute mess. But you could tell it was both of them together pushing the game forward on our side.
And I think if both of them are starting, I think you end up with a better result.
And Matt Al again said, Kakache was making runs and he just wasn't being picked up, which will come from not playing for a couple of matches. You get used to the players you had with you, like Longman, and you know Longman's on the left, but he's weaker. So Stoke did what they should have done. They double-teamed Kabore on the right and said, okay, play it out to Longman. We're happier with him having the ball. And then we're ready to counter that when you do give him the ball. And it seemed to be working yesterday. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for tonight. That's 90 minutes of a show. Great chat, everyone. So we will say goodnight unless there is any mad topics you want to hit before we go that I missed. Okay, actually, I'm going to ask this just before we finish up. We touched on it a little bit. We need to drop O'Brien to Dobson's position and put Broadhead in the current O'Brien position. Okay, I do kind of agree with that. What about Dobson? Is it harsh for Dobson? I think it's probably the best solution we have at the moment. Does Dobbo deserve to lose a spot? Who wants to take it?
Well, I think we need to have all options available and whatever works best. And I understand the hesitation to do that, but I think that would work better.
Okay. Habs?
It would look to be that we would probably have to do that. Only because it would serve to push our game forward.
Yeah. I think it would make the team stronger. I do think O'Brien is a better danger when he does move forward than Dobson is, if he ends up on the final ball. Now, passing play is very good from O'Brien, but if he does end up on that final ball, I would prefer him on it than Dobson. Dobson was poor last year in League One at that. He's very good at his defensive duties, but he's lacking that attacking edge. So I think it would make the team stronger if we tried that. I saw you nodding there, John. What do you think?
I think it's funny you guys mention this, because I think we have a very similar situation at Blues with Tommy Doyle, in the sense of managers are funny, aren't they? Because from the outside looking in, you'd say, well, O'Brien, you got Broadhead and O'Brien. They're two of your best players in your squad. You play them in their best positions. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? And then, like you said, does Dobson deserve to lose his play? Probably not, if he's been playing really well. But the truth of the matter is, an O'Brien playing in his natural position is better than a Dobson playing in his natural position, and Broadhead playing, I won't say his natural position, but Broadhead playing in the side. And we have the same thing with Tommy Doyle with us. It's kind of like Davis can't seem to fit him in the side because we've got the Paker, Watter and Leonard and all that. And you just kind of think, well, at times you just have to sort of, as managers, I think they overthink everything. And at times you just kind of think, play your best players in their best positions. You'll get the best out of them. Sounds kind of simple in a way, but
yeah, generally speaking, that does work though. Okay. And as well, look, another simple answer is, well, why did we buy O'Brien if he's not better than Dobson? Essentially, if that's his best position.
Yeah,
so
we have exactly the same conversation about Tommy Doyle when everyone says about Paker and Watt, and it's just like, well, you've got Tommy Doyle who's played 50 odd games in the Premier League. He's better. Why don't you play him then? I suppose the only thing from a tactical point of view for you guys is that you probably can't ask Broadhead to play the role that O'Brien's probably been playing from a defensive point of view. Because I assume O'Brien drops into the midfield, doesn't he, currently, when you guys don't have the ball? Whereas if you were saying, say, for argument's sake, say you took Dobson out and put O'Brien back there, could you really ask Broadhead to drop into the midfield? He's not that sort of player for me. So does he actually suit the style? Or do you go away from that and say it's not your job to drop back, stay up further up the pitch? I don't know.
Yeah. And get O'Brien to stay defensive longer before he comes up into the attacking mix and play the passing role forward, which is what we need. We need to get the ball up to our attackers.
Yeah, me and Aaron had a very not a heated debate, but we had sort of a disagreement because he was saying that he thinks that his best Parkinson's best idea would be to play Windass and Broadhead behind Moore. And I said, I can't see him playing both of them behind Moore because it goes against leaving yourself too exposed in midfield. He's not going to trust just O'Brien and say Sheaf back there, for example. He's going to want another player. Yeah, it's tactics, isn't it? So,
okay. So this is the final question. We have another one here from Tom Evans. Before you go, how many changes for Wednesday? So how many players do you think would you change from your starting 11?
Kakache starting.
Okay. I think that's the most obvious one. Yeah. Yep. Anybody else leaving it kind of the system the way it is at the moment? Is there anybody else you would immediately change? I don't think so. I think that's kind of our strongest 11. Habs, do you agree with that?
More or less, yeah. Because going from the previous point about O'Brien, serving the defensive duties whilst being in on the midfield, his main strength is that he does push the game forward as well, whilst also serving well for the defense in the midfield.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could say we could put him back. Put him into the position where Dobson would be, but then, if we were to stick Broadhead in, we would be, because Broadhead's more of a natural left winger. He is. Well, there's just so many. I mean, if we did start him, it would be more attack heavy, but we would need to be able to be sure of ourselves to be able to go through the midfield and provide that service to him, to either him or Windass, and be able to trust our wing backs to be able to provide service as well. I mean, it's going to be that's a complete changing system, and I don't think Parky would do it, and I don't think you don't think that'll be safe either.
Yeah, I personally think the only change will be the straightforward Kakache coming in for long. My opinion on that one. Parky does things slowly, often too slowly, we think sometimes. But I think that'll be the only solid change, because after that, then we do have our cup match, so he can play about with players and formations in the cup match if he wants to try something different and get a handle on it. So we'll see what happens there.
Don't you think he would potentially go more attacking in this setup wise in this game than normal? Being it's Oxford at home, you probably, with your fixtures, you'd like to say you probably got to win this game, and if you can't set up attacking at home against Oxford, who can you? For argument's sake.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Is it time to give more a match off the start? Yeah, and try a slightly different attacking option. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with doing it. I just don't think he will. I don't think he will. I think he'll go more flexible in the cup match. But let's see.
I would start Smith over Moore for Oxford.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Moore will get much change out of Helic. Is it Helic or Helic or whatever his name is? Because he's a giant of a guy at the back for Oxford.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, I have a bombshell here from Blank Canvas, and that is how we will end the show. #SaveParky. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We had a great show. Do all the likes and subscribes and all that good thing. We are nearly at 3,000. I will drop our Discord link in as we finish. So if you'd like to come and join us in the Discord, click the link and come and join us for some background chat all week. We are international, so there's usually someone on at all times of the day. We're a nice, friendly bunch over there, so come and join us. Thank you all, and don't forget, tomorrow night we have Champ Chat. Myself and John will be at it again, so do come and join us for that. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks, John.
Right, see you in a bit.
See you guys.